guys, we're back for another Dokkan battle video, and today I want to take a look at this Piccolo right here. This is Piccolo Jr. This, of course, is from the end of the original Dragon Ball series, right? Piccolo Jr. is honestly a character deserving of a Dokkan Festival exclusive. I feel like I think you could even do like a dual Dokkan Fest around this Piccolo and Goku from the final fight of Dragon Ball, which is really, really good. Now, right now, this character is just restricted to the Dragon Ball Saga Summon banner, which is pretty terrible, and thus they don't really make these characters too good either. Now, the first thing I'm going to look at is Piccolo Jr. does have a lot of, decent villain links that he could be a good part of. Things like Worldwide Chaos, right? Revenge, Target Goku, Terrifying Conquerors. He's on a lot of categories, and he's even on stuff like Namekians and World Tournament that could use help. But if we take a look at his links right here, he has Big Bad Bosses, Tough as Nails, Demonic Ways, Strength and Unity, The Incredible Adventure, and Guidance of the Dragon Balls. So we have got a lot of links here that we're not really going to be having active a lot of the time. If they do make this guy a Dokkan Festival exclusive, I sure would hope that they would try and do a little bit to make him like viable with these links and stuff like that. Having Big Bad Bosses is very, very good, right? Running him on a lot of these villain teams. But it's like Tough as Nails. I don't know. Like you're probably not gonna run this guy with like King Cold or something like that, right? Tough as Nails is gonna be tough, I think, to get active on this character. So there's gonna be a lot of different like examples of like these links that are gonna be tough for him to activate. So we're here on the Terrifying Conqueror team, right? That's pretty much the only like real spot this Piccolo has at the moment. With Garlic Jr., we actually do have Demonic Ways activated. Funny enough, like we're actually able to get one of these super uber rare links right here. This is 2 key, 10% attack and defense is what this link is able to do, which is solid. I mean, a lot of these links that Piccolo's got are giving good buffs, but it doesn't mean they're going to be super common to have activated right here. So let me take a look here. So Piccolo, right, gets 30% defense from his super attack effect. He's got a high chance to stun, which, will be good for Super Battle Road, of course. 100% attack and defense start a turn. Another 100% attack and defense when facing a Turtle School enemy, which we are. And then one time only, he gets a 200% attack buff on Super, and stuns the enemy for 2 turns guaranteed, starting from the 3rd turn. So next turn, we will have that buff activated for Piccolo, right? It starts from the 3rd turn. A little bit of a weird design there. I do think that this Piccolo, though, could be fairly solid in like a Super Battle Road situation or setting, just for the stuns, right? 50% chance to stun from a super attack effect is solid. And then, of course, having that guaranteed stun starting from the 3rd turn could certainly be helpful, I would say. I don't know that this guy's really going to be too much outside of some, niche Super Battle Road runs, but like, if Worldwide Chaos got like a Super Battle Road stage, right, or Namekians or something like that, like you could potentially like, have some help from this Piccolo Jr. right here. Like I don't want to say he's a complete zero, but I mean, I think the stunning is helpful, but his stats just are not high enough, right? Like we have Big Bad Bosses activated, and it's like his defense was going to be what, like 210 or 220 or something like that, with a 30% super attack effect. Like that's not going to cut it. This guy only came out in December of 2021 on JP too, so I don't know, man. Alright, so with this Piccolo Jr., this of course is the giant form Piccolo Jr. right here. We have everything activated except for Tough as Nails, right? So we're at 165k defense right here. Again, he gets the extra 30% on his super attack effect. And we're also getting support. Keep in mind that his attack stat should be quite a bit higher right here, because this is the 1 turn he gets of the really big attack buff. This other link, too, I should point this out. Strength and Unity right here. This is 2 key and 3% HP regeneration. Now, we would be able to activate that with the new Shen that recently came out, but like we would only be able to do that on the World Tournament team. So I don't know. Looking at this link, it's like I would want them to, you know, maybe give us like a dual Dokkan Fest of like Goku and Piccolo Jr. But like, I don't know, maybe they could do a Dokkan Fest Piccolo Jr. and then like the Part 2 LR could be like giant form Piccolo Jr. or something like that, right? Like that I think could potentially be a good way to handle it. Remember that Piccolo does a lot of attacks in that tournament, right? He fights Krillin, he fights Kami and Shen's body, and then of course he also fights Goku. So there's a lot of different animation stuff like that they could use, I think, to sustain that many characters. But this guy is going to be really big, right? Or future Dokkan Fest version. I mean, this character like will be okay for like Super Battle Road stages. But like this Piccolo Jr. being good would be with all these types of links activated, right? Incredible Adventure, 3 key, 7% attack and defense is solid, right? That's the same buff as Tournament of Power. And then Guidance of the Dragon Balls is giving us 20% attack, and what is that, 7% crit chance. So it's like, you know, these links will give us extra power. So let's see what Piccolo does in this turn. This will be the best turn we will see from him in this video right here, right? And if depending upon so 5 million he gets up to. That's a one-time only buff, the 5 million right there. Next turn, his attack power will go back down to normal. And, you know, that's a lot of damage to take from this Goku right here. You know, certainly this Piccolo Jr. is not what I would consider to be a, like, red zone capable character or anything like that, right? It's just Super Battle Road stages. I really am just not a fan of the way they do these types of characters, right? They're like, okay, like, you know, Piccolo Jr. and Kami and stuff like that. Like, they're dropping them just in these Dragon Ball Saga banners that aren't really doing too much for these characters, right? They're not making them good enough. I would be totally in favor of them just making all of the, like units from World Tournament just insanely busted. I mean, I say I'm in favor of that, but, like, would anyone not be in favor of that? Of them making World Tournament units actually, like, decent, like, actually good to where they can actually help you? Because, like, right now, you go through, like, most of these World Tournament units and they're mostly fodder. You know, you have some gems. I think that the Tech Perfect Cell was a really good World Tournament reward card. That was always, he's been useful for a long time. Even the hardest EZA in the game, the, you know, TUR Super Saiyan 4s, that Tech Perfect Cell worked well in there. Again, that was the hardest EZA in the game. You know, a World Tournament unit really being good in there, I think does speak volumes to that character, right? You know, the Tech Gohan is still very effective. The one from the, like, the Cell Games filler is still very effective when it comes to some of this difficult content as well. Also, keep in mind, by the way, that Piccolo Jr. right here is only an SSR, right? He does not have a TUR awakening at the moment, so. Piccolo got his defense lowered last turn. We're only at 100k with lower defense. Like, I feel like I have to use this. I seriously think we could just outright die if I don't, like, I think that this guy is actually, like, mediocre enough that, like, that one debuff we got hit with, like we'd be done. Like, that would be it, GG. With, like, all this, like, big bad bosses and all this activated. So that is definitely not a good sign. 100k defense at with the Princess Tank, with damage reduction, we're taking this much damage. 1.72. Yeah, I'm not. This is not. They gotta, man, I guess it's like, it's cool that these are actually characters we could use, right? It's better than nothing, not having them in the game at all, but, like, they're just not, like, a character. Like Piccolo came out weeks before LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? Like, it's just like, you know, it's not like we're looking at some character where you could be like, oh, well, this guy came out 500 years ago. It's like, it's brand new, and it's just like fodder. Like, it's just really not a great sign, right? So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of Piccolo Jr. here. I really am hopeful that he is going to get a Dokkan Fest exclusive. I mean, Captain Ginyu, Videl, Pikkon, Raditz all got Dokkan Festival exclusives. Those are like very lower hype level characters, I think, than Piccolo. Piccolo is way above all those other characters for sure. So I think it's actually very realistic that Piccolo Jr. from that World Tournament fight with Goku does get one, but you know, hopefully it's sooner rather than later. I mean, we will see. We will see. I personally think that every world tournament, they should do like a sequence of Dokkan Fest. But we'll get the giant Piccolo transformation here. But I think they should do a sequence of Dokkan Fest exclusives, right? Where it's like the world tournament winners from OG Dragon Ball all get Dokkan Festival exclusives. You could even just keep going and then give Mr. Satan a Dokkan Fest as well, Hercule, right? Like, I feel like they could drop like a Hercule Dokkan Fest, right? And like have him be like either like a defensive god or like an insane support or something like that. Like, I feel like people would be interested in a Mr. Satan Dokkan Fest at this 7 years in at this point, right? Most of the really important story characters have gotten like Dokkan Fest and stuff like that too at this point, right? It's not like there's a ton of characters that don't have them. There's some like God Goku, Baby, obviously, you know, this Piccolo Jr. But I think, you know, my original point was that we could get a Dokkan Fest for Jackie Chun from the 21st World Tournament. We could get a Dokkan Fest for Tien from the 22nd World Tournament. And then we get a Dokkan, I think, then, you know, end it with a dual Dokkan Fest with Goku, kind of like the teen Goku, and then, you know, giant Piccolo Jr. right here. I think that would be a fantastic, like, sort of like sequence of Dokkan Fest that people would probably be very excited for, right? Remember, in 2019, the 4th anniversary dropped LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. At the time, it was the most successful, like, anniversary ever, like, celebration ever for Dokkan. It was the Dokkan high point was the 4th anniversary at the time that it happened. The Dokkan Fest immediately following it was Kid Goku, and, like, Japanese players were commenting on the tweet saying this should have been the anniversary. So I do think they could go back to original Dragon Ball, the roots of the series, and it will be very well received. I do think they could do that at this point. So let me know what you guys think of the World Tournament Piccolo Jr. right here. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.